Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm the Tombstone and welcome back to Timbukton. In today's episode, guys, we're going to be building what's called the Central Grounds. That's really the best name I could come up for it, but all it is, it's going to be a large cemetery near downtown, and a little bit more west will be a pretty big sports center. So there'll be like a whole bunch of softball fields, tennis courts, and like some fun activity areas. And this is again based off of an area in Halifax near downtown where, I don't know, it's just like a huge open field. It's probably a little bigger than what I'm gonna build in Timbukton today, but it's like, I don't know, just a open public space with a couple of baseball or softball fields, and yeah, so I mean you can just go and chill out in one of these areas. But first, we'll get started with the cemetery, and of course, with Timbukton being such an old city, this cemetery has been growing for hundreds of years, potentially, and it's gotten to a pretty big size. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty common for a lot of cities, you know, like right smack in downtown, you'll have these large cemeteries. But I think it gives so much character to the whole area, too, because it's so treed in. I don't know, I find it just makes the city look pretty cool from afar. So the reason why I'm developing this area is while building Timbukton Airport, once in a while I just didn't feel like building the actual airport, and I just felt like playing around and building some other things just to change it up a little bit. And this build right here is just from a whole bunch of footage that I accumulated over the course of, I don't know, a couple of months probably. And I don't know, I just felt like this footage was good enough to provide like a nice filler episode while we decide what we're going to do in the next episode. So it's nothing too major, nothing too exciting going on in this episode, but it is nonetheless a pretty important landmark in the city. And I do pay quite a bit of attention to all the little details here. And off camera as well, I've been developing this area a little more than what you may notice. I felt like some of these areas were developed with either some older assets that are kind of outdated now, or that I don't really find that they fit very well in this particular area. So with this area being so close to downtown, you would expect buildings to be super old and not run down, but you know, they should be starting to show their age naturally. You know, 200-year-old wooden houses, they of course don't last forever if you don't upkeep them. So I felt like a lot of the homes and a lot of the buildings that I used previously in this area were really not up to par. So I've done a little bit of work off camera and you know, updated some of those buildings, added some older style buildings, like some New England style buildings that were uploaded on the workshop a little more recently. So I've been paying a little bit more attention to things like that. Now for these tombstones, I'm not gonna do anything too extravagant. I'm just gonna copy a whole bunch of stuff that I did in Burton like a really long time ago. But these tombstones are really great, and you know, they're easy to use. You can just plop them down wherever you want and set them to be terrain conforming, and you know, they're really nice. So pretty much the entirety of this cemetery will be comprised of these style tombstones. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the episode, enjoy a couple of tunes, and I'll check back with you guys in a couple of minutes. Now, with the cemetery being relatively complete, with the exception of plopping down some trees and little details and stuff, I'm going to start to work on the sports area, or like the common, I don't know, let's just call it a sports area for now. And yeah, so for this, it's not going to be too complicated. Like I was saying, it's just going to be a whole bunch of softball fields, tennis courts, I forget what else. I think I'm going to build like a common, just open field somewhere. I don't know, it's been so long since this footage has been laying around in my hard drive. I kind of forgot exactly what this whole thing looked like. But yeah, I really like this area too, you know. It's right in the middle of the city. It's easily accessible from anywhere, and I just like the density of it, I guess. Like it just fits perfectly in this type of area. Oh, and one thing I should mention too, forgive me guys if you notice some props and anything just disappearing when I zoom out. At this point in the build, I think I had unsubscribed from the adaptive prop visibility mod just to improve my game performance just a little bit. I am subscribed to it right now, and I have tweaked my settings a little bit for it to improve the performance of my game, because I don't know, Timbukton is struggling a little bit. I know my computer is starting to show its age, but at the same time, Timbukton is growing at a pretty steady pace. As you can see, we're almost up to 60,000 people. Actually, I think the city has shrunk a little bit in the last couple of episodes, because I remember being at over 60,000 people at some point. But I don't know, I'll have to check into that. But yeah, the city is starting to struggle a little bit. Like the game simulation has really slowed down, and I'm averaging like 15 FPS, I guess, when I'm like working around the city real time. So I mean, it's not too uncommon for city skylines to bog down like that, but it is a little bit cumbersome when trying to build things, especially when, you know, trying to go a little bit quicker. But oh well. And I'm plopping down some trees now, so I know a lot of the trees used in the entire Timbukton region are like super high poly, so that has a huge impact on the performance of the game. But recently I have tweaked some tree settings using the prop adaptive visibility mod, and that has helped a little bit in performance, but it's not really that noticeable. And of course, no cemetery is complete without a big old church right beside it. I plopped this church down right here, and I right beside it, I'm gonna make like this entire square, like, I don't know, like this may be some sort of event hall where weddings would occur. So yeah, I'm sort of gonna focus this entire block on these types of religious things. So at the time, I figured, why not develop a lot of the area around the common grounds just to bring more life to it? And it makes for better cinematics too at the end of this episode, of course. So what I'm going to plop down right now is, I think it's a middle school. It is a school, I'm 100% sure of that, but I forget if it's like middle school or elementary, whatever. But anyways, I figured that, you know, with the cemetery being complete, and to bring out some more life out of the common sports area, you know, of course you need a school nearby. You'll need a lot of residential, a lot of people to come and enjoy the park. So I figured that, you know, perfect opportunity just to spruce up the surrounding areas. So here we go with the school, and in just a minute I'm going to build a nice little grocery store right behind the sports area. And one thing I'll get into as well, guys, is a lot of this area surrounding like the middle part of the city, I've done quite a bit of work off camera, but don't worry, it's nothing too extensive. Like what I've developed without recording, in my mind, wasn't interesting enough to make an episode out of it. So that's kind of what, like, the reason why I did it. Second reason is, every time that I do record an episode, I'm always conscious of what I am recording. You know, I want it to look good for you guys, and I want to record the right things. Sometimes I just want to take a break and, you know, just build whatever I feel like building. And that was sort of the case in this area. So as the city progresses, you may notice a lot of parts of the city that you have not seen before that have just, you know, kind of popped up. So forgive me about that, guys, but you'll see, like, it's nothing too major. Mostly like residential areas. And most of the time I don't go into crazy detailing when it comes to residential areas anyway. I just plop down a whole bunch of houses, maybe plop a few trees and fences around them. So nothing too extravagant, so you guys aren't missing much. But we are getting to the end of this episode. I will finish up with the small grocery store just to fill up this entire block here. You'll see during the cinematics that I have developed pretty much the entire area around the park, so you'll get a glimpse of that. But I do thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Next episode, I'm not really sure what we'll get into. I haven't decided on that yet, but most likely what I think I'll be doing is trying to expand the city as fast as possible towards the airport, just to fill in, like, start filling in the suburbs around the airport. So that is going to be it for me today. Stay tuned for some awesome cinematics at the end. And yeah, with all that being said, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also consider subscribing to the channel for many more videos just like this one. And if you guys haven't already, go check out my Patreon page. And until the next episode, guys, please take care.